working on a just some JavaScript here. Um, I'm on Codecademy here doing a I'll pull it up. So this, let me see. I'm about 15, as you saw before. I'm about 15% through the back-end career path here. I'm almost just about completing about the JavaScript syntax part 2 part, and going to be working through JavaScript syntax part 3, and then some of the other stuff. I'm going to get into some bigger projects and stuff like that as we continue on here. But this is about the end part of the JavaScript syntax part 2 part. It's just a couple of these code challenges and stuff that are pretty fun. Pretty interesting to work on. What's good about these ones is again, I just, as it's advancing on, it's just telling you like here's like what kind of function that you need to create. It doesn't give you any more than that. It just gives you, it's just trying to make you use what you've learned so far to create these functions and stuff, which is good, which is really helping me learn these code challenges and stuff. And I got some stuff on some other obviously there's a whole bunch of resources for more of this stuff too, so just to build more projects and stuff to continue the learnings here. But this one was pretty this one was a good one to work on right here. Is writing a function faction. Man, I can't even say this word. Factorial that takes a number argument, returns the factorial of the number. So that'd be like if you go to we'll pull up the Wikipedia so you can see it. So obviously 0 would be factorial 0 would be 1, factorial 1 would be 1, factorial 2 would be 2. Then as you increase, so it's pretty much you work your way back. So it'd be, factorial 5 would be 5 times 4, that'd be times 3 times 2 times 1 equals 120. So you have to work your way. You have to iterate over what pretty much the function that it wanted you to create was a function that iterated over a given number, multiplied that times that decreasing iterating number, all the way down to 0, pretty much, and that's how you would get the factorial of whatever here. So this is the Wikipedia page, and we can use this as a base to just check the function. I have it. This is what I'm working on right now. I built it in my so here are my do while. I'm working on that match one is what I'm working on right now. But this is where I built it in the full pen right here. So I call this my do while loops, and this is where I built where I went over how to build where I thought this would function with how I thought it would should work and stuff like that. Just an idea. So pretty much what it takes is an argument, call it num. Then we got to create our iterator. Now I just created an empty iterator, just calling it I, or whatever as a variable. Now we don't want what I had to take into consideration was um, the iterator. What always has to it always has to be one multiple, the multiple plus one, like a multiple of one. So even 0 would equal 1. So the factorial of 0 is 1. It's 1. 0, it would be 0 as itself, so it would be 1. The factorial of 1, again, would be 1. Factorial of 2 is 2. Factorial of 3, and then it works. So you have to always make sure your iterator equals 1. So even if, again, it's just because you have to work back. But so that's what I built it as. So if num is pretty much greater than 1, num would equal num minus 1. That way I would get the iterator as the next number down from your argument, or the number that you pass through the function. And then I give it the conditional if else, then it would equal 1. So if it was greater than 1, it would equal 1. So if it was 1 or 0, it would equal 1. And then it would go through. So then I'm giving results. So this is where I built the next part of the function here is the results would equal your number that you're passing through here. All right. And because I want results to be returned as the results. So what we need to do is do while, and this is where I got the idea of using do while for this, because it just made sense. Because I was trying to do it with a for loop and some other stuff, and I just couldn't let it make. It just didn't syntactical make sense, and couldn't make sense in my own head. So I looked at a do while loop, and I was like, a do while loop could kind of would work best for this function, because I wanted to do something while the iterator is at a certain place within itself, so it can iterate over and continue to multiply over that. So because I wanted results and the iterator to be multiplied by themselves, but the iterator to always be taken away, because again, I want to work from wherever you put in your argument, say 100. So I want it to be 100, the iterator to be 99. All right, but your argument to stay 100, one after that to stay 100 all the way down to 1, but continue to multiply all the way down. So that's where the do while loop made sense and stuff like that, and it works out good. So we pass in 1, we still get it. We should still get 1. Oh, we get 0, so I gotta work on that. Bless you. I know why it's doing that. Because 0 times 1 is 0. So that's why it's doing that. So I can actually fix this. Now we get into that right now. I'll work on that one later. You get the idea though. That's what that was for. So come over here, checks out good over here, checks the answers. So it works out for what Codecademy wanted. You know, like that work on it. But there you go. So that's that one. The next one I'm working on is write a function sublet that takes 2 parameters, a string and a single character. The function should search a string for 2 occurrences of a character and return the length between them, including the 2 characters. If there are less than 2 or more of the occurrence of the character, the function returns 0. So with the function sublength, we put in Saturday with A, it counts 2, so it passes that, and then it wants you to then count the spaces. The index are spaces between the 2 A's, and then add that to 2 plus that index. So we have M here, and in summer, we pass it through. Obviously, there's no index between the 2 M's, so it just returns 2. We have I. Problem with I against digitalize. This is the 3, so it fails that function and returns 0. Same thing with cheesecake here. So you put cheesecake in. Obviously, it only has 1K. Returns 0. So come over here. Get out my do while. Come over here to my match. This is what I've been working on for this one. So, alright. So what I've been working on is using a couple different things here. So I got the dogs here. So I'm using match, and regular expression. So match, the match method receives the results of a matching string against regular expression. Now, regular expression, it's not that confusing. It can seem confusing, but what I wanted it to do was I wanted to return, I wanted a variable to be returned back as a regular. I want the function to taking pretty much a variable, or an argument rather, an argument as a regular expression. So I needed to to just think about how to do that, and I was going through Stack Overflow and stuff like that, and I found some good stuff. So you got reg. So the reg expression object is used for matching text patterns. So what it allows you to do, so it's a construction. So the literal or constructor. So that's what we're going to be using as is the constructor function. So the constructor function takes in either a string, a string, or a regular expression object as its first parameter, and a string of its optional flag. So with flags, you can ignore capitalization. You can iterate too, so it can match how many. So that'd be the G. I is the pretty much like ignore capital, pretty much case sensitive. And G, I think it's in this page too, right? The flags. I can pull it up, the flags and stuff like that too. But I think I was reading it under just the strings. Excuse me. About the flags and stuff like that. So either way, you can look up regular expression flags and stuff like that if you want. So in this case, I'm not too concerned about case sensitive. We can build that in too. But if we go back to match here, so what I wanted was just to create have a variable become that regular expression to be passed through match here. So if we look at the 5 T's here, so we have 2, and so we have another variable here that equals 5 T's, throwing in that match method here. So the match method again receives the result of the matching string against a regular expression here. All right, so we looked at that. Now, this is what we're going to get into next. But so if we log, let me just log this out real quick. Comment that out. And then hold on, just clear the console real quick. We should get an object array, pretty much an array that includes our 5 T's here. Okay, so it took in, all right, so took in 5 T's, all right, against the match method, and then used our regular expression here, which our regular expression it's again, we can turn, this can be now a variable. Okay, so we're going to be passing that through a argument. So we're going to be taking an argument. This is where I'm working on the function right here to build it. But this index of is the next thing I was working on to try to iterate through and try to find pretty much where everything is. Maybe I can connect some of these methods together, kind of chain them. I didn't think about that. Now I'm kind of thinking about maybe I can kind of chain. Sometimes you can chain these methods together to get at what you're trying to achieve in some cases. Let me try that. Sometimes you can do that. What does it take as its second argument? this index of taking a regular expression. Search element. So in this case, it'd just be it'd be the argument no matter what. It wouldn't be the regular expression. Oh, I know why it's returning 0. Because it found t at 0. That's why it returned 0. So that's not what I want. Sorry, it's a good thing I thought about it. Again, sometimes it's just trial and error. Alright, so let me stop horsing around here. Get to actually work on that, right? So, alright. Excuse me again. Alright, so what I got here is pretty much just a function here called let's match. Takes in the string and then takes in the character. Now I was gonna build in conditionals to make it, make sure that that the string is equal to string and character is equal to character and spaces, stuff like that. I just didn't want to build it out that complicated just yet. I can get to that. I just want to be able to get to the function that that Codecademy wants it to do. So we want to again search for the 2 occurrences. If it has 2 or more of that occurrence, it returns 0. If it has 2 occurrences, we want to add 2 to the index between the 2 occurrences and return that. So to figure out. Alright, so what I got here is the again building up the regular expression. So we're taking in the character that's passed through as the argument here. So take that right here. And then we're just throwing the G flag because again I want it to count over it. I mean I could put the I flag. So let's see if this will work. So we'll throw a capital T. Yeah, so that'll return the same thing. So I'll throw the I flag on that to ignore case sensitive and stuff like that. We'll see. All right. Comment that up real quick. All right, so we have again we have our regular expression. Now this is what I want to start building building on results here. All right. So what I'm doing right off the rip to get me the beginning to start the function is the object array that I wanted to return. So I wanted to return in a length object. So once it pulls that, it's gonna send me back whatever it's gonna be. So this is where I could tell if it's got two or more, two or less, and then we can work on everything after that. So we'll throw in a conditional. So if the results length isn't equal to 2, then we're just going to return a 0. So we can just hit it with it else. All right, and that finishes that part of that. Okay, so no, if it doesn't return, if it's greater than, if it's either less than or greater than 2, it's going to return a 0. So we already get that part taken care of. So yeah, I'll do this. Results equal to, sorry, return results. I'm working on Codecademy too. I'm working on a collection of JavaScript shorts. Well, this is going to be part of that, JavaScript shorts and stuff like that. But I'm going to be hopefully it will be built into a bigger project that I'll actually finally someday get around to working on my website. This is going to be part of that I'll put, this is just a good project that, some stuff, because I can embed all these pins and stuff like that, which is really neat. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so we'll get that done. What was I working on right there? I was working on this last time. I had a couple too many beers. All right, so let me just figure out what I was trying to work on. All right, so let's find index. Oh, okay. So that's what I was trying to do. So let's find index. This is where I was going to do a do while. Yeah, this is where I was going to do a do while. Right there. Because what I wanted to do, I wanted to iterate. So right over here with the with index of. Okay, so if we come over here, we go back to 5T's. Just create accounts real quick. Yeah, this is what I was working on. Okay, so I was too drunk last night. This is what I was working on. Just had to remember. The heck? Yeah. Okay, so if we come over to here, do index of. going to return a 0. Okay, come over here, we change this to an O. It's going to return a 1. Okay, now our first T is at index 0. All right, our first O is at index 1. All right, now it can take a positional argument here. So if I was to say, is there an O at 4? So let's put in 4 here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be at this T right here. Now it should return a 3. Should. Oh, so it's returning the next one. Okay. So that it's returning 5. Okay. Now if we put a 2 in here, it should return a 3. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense because we're looking at 0, 1, 2. So it's always looking for the next iteration. So it starts at positional 2 and then looks for where that next one would be. Okay. Now if we just put T in here, it'd return 2 because T is at 2. Okay. So T is at 2. Okay. Now again, to make this so either way, so it returns the next greater. Well, it starts at that position. So the position would be the argument, and then looks for it. All right. So what we need to do, since I know it's going to find the first one, we just have to iterate over that next greater yeah, so it'd be just that next greater character that we're looking for. So we're just looking for one more. So again, if these were all if I removed all these okay, so we would know that our last O, if we found our first O, so it'd be 0, 1 at 1, our next O would be at, let me see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should be at position 9. So we come over here at the 0 and O. Again, we remove our positional argument. It should return a 1. It returns a 1. Now, if we go greater than our position, it should return the next O, which should be 9. Okay, perfect. All right. So then all we need to do is then those two minus themselves plus 2, and that'll be it. But I need to just run, grab a drink, and hit the head real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Be right back. down to the butter bar. Woo! Actually, you want to come on down to the butter bar? Butter bar? Come on down to the butter bar. Yes, sir. Maybe me, you, and JoJo and stuff, but maybe Unique can stream today.
But don't show me cheating.
I won't show you cheating.
Because you know me, I don't bother doing the level. I don't bother doing them because they're boring.
Guys, notice I shaved my beard off too? I don't think anybody's even said anything about that. No more beard. My beard's not down to my toes anymore. I'm not tripping over it. I used to trip over my beard. I used to wake up in the morning and fall right on my face.
Yeah, he shaved his
I
beard.
did shave my beards.
I don't know why he did that, but that was kind of crazy for him to do. He looks like a whole nother man, but when he shaved it, it was just down there. He looks like one of those men that looks crazy.
I'm a whole new man, baby. Come on down to the butter barn. Yeah, I'll cut up the watermelon today, buddy. Yeah, I'll cut it up to pieces. That way you guys can just eat it like, yeah, so you can eat it off the skin. Okay? Butter barn. I just had to wet my whistle. Okay. So again, yeah. So okay, let's do this then. La, 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 la. Let's see if this works. Create a console real quick. And let's see if this returns or not. Because I had another thing right here. Okay, so let's run it now. So it didn't like the iterator, so I just did it +1. Now let's see if our find second index returns 9. And if it does, that's the winning ticket right there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, baby. All right. Now all we gotta do. This should return 8 because the first index is 0 is 1, and the last index is 9. So 1, so 9 minus 1, it should return 8. Okay, so we have it. So we have our logic right there. Prep. Good. Oh, flex my biceps, my coding biceps. Massive like my small brain. Alright. And then we just gotta pulse that by 2, buddy. And that's it. So perfect. That's our logic right there. Let me just remove that so when I go back and look at it later, I can say, okay, why did I put that 2 there? No, it's fine. I can just copy this right there. Alright, so let's just see if this works. This will be the first time I'm testing this function, actually. So we're gonna say, we'll pass it in our little phrase here. Perfect. I just had to change it from a constant variable to a mutable variable. That's it. Const, as you know, is not mutable. Or let is. I could have returned. It's because it's initial. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I can leave it like that. And this should just make sure. We'll say so. We'll put t. It should return 0. Put I. Well, we'll put something that's not even in there because see, t has more than, so we'll put something like k. Okay, where did it break? Because it's returning an empty object, so I just have to have it have a default value. Index. Just return something that doesn't exist. So what kind of object I got back, right? It's good. Returns a -1. getting messed up. Oh, it's okay. I can use that -1 then. I call it negative index. This is going to be equal to yep, results. Of so if this first one returns a negative index, I know that I can't move any further. So if drink, drink. even know what an end of input ever is. I didn't miss a bracket somewhere. Definitely a broken bracket somewhere. Where'd I break you? I want to let me give a negative result. Huh. Go. Just like that. Let's shook it up. Oh, stack overflow. Let me run it on. It's returning undefined. Give it a +1 if it's equal to 0. 0. So that turns not a null. To give null properties. Misteria. really tripping me out. If it doesn't have this, it's returning a -1, but it's like, because it's returning -1, it's returning a null. How do I make something not return a null? How to unnull a null? Even if I change this to null, it doesn't even assign. There's nothing to do with that. Can you highlight? Um, let's see what we get back on the Stack Overflow. It's usually pretty good. Yeah, I can't understand why it's not assigning no. Because it even comes back as a -1. Excuse me. I mean, when I did it like this, I mean, I got a 0 back. It's not even giving me. So it's the same thing. So index of, yeah. Oh, what is this? I didn't even catch that. Still gonna make it null. And if I was to give it a +1, yeah, still. But glad I caught that. I would have broken my. I am new here. What are you creating? Well, what's up? How are you? Cannot pronounce your name. I'm trying to create a function. Let's match that takes in a string and a character. So whatever string, whatever character. I haven't built any conditionals around, if to meet up. If it, whatever string or whatever, I just basing it off that. And if this is what we're trying to achieve here. If the string has two or more, if the string contains pretty much two 0 to 2 or more of the same occurrence of the character that you pass through the function, it return a 0. But if it has perfectly two, it wants to return 2 plus the index between those two characters. So when we return our functions, if we pass through a Saturday with the A. Okay, so if we pass Saturday as one argument, A is the other, we want to know, the function wants to know, if we want to build a function that says, okay, let's find how many A's are in here. Okay, so we have 2 A's. Okay, so did we pass the first conditional? Do we have exactly 2? So we do. So now let's find the sum of the index between those two. So there's 4 letters between these 2 A's here. So we're going to take 2 plus the index between them, and that's going to return the number. So it's going to return 6 on that one. We have 2M, so it completes the first condition, but then the index between them is 0, so it's going to return a 2. There's 3 I's in digitalization, so it's going to return a 0 because there's more than 2. K, there's 1 K in there, so it's going to return a 1. Now, as my function stands so far, it can do that, but when it, so let me clear this out. So with my crazy, now I know there's 5 T's in here, and there's 3 I's and 2 O's. So my T's should return 0. Yeah, so that's a return 0. My I's, because there's too many I's, again, it should return 0. Okay, now my O, because there's 2 O's, so we take the 2 O's. Now the index between them, now one is at index 1, the other is at index 9. So the index sum between those is 8. So I need to take the sum. I can do it, but in Python. Yeah, so I mean, you could probably kind of, so where I'm getting stuck at is, I mean, this is similar to how you would probably do in Python, writing a similar type of thing. I could do Python. I got to brush up on Python. next, because I'm getting it. Trying to, I do all kinds of stuff with network devices and stuff like that. So I'm always trying to, I gotta be working on my Python skills and everything else. But I'm trying to do front end, back end development stuff too. I'm trying to get into stuff like that. So obviously JavaScript is one of the primary languages behind a lot of the back end stuff these days. With some of the more popular applications and stuff like that, a lot of it's running, some sort of, JavaScript variation, will that be Vue, React, or something else? Obviously, those are just libraries upon JavaScript and whatnot. But Python, though, obviously with interacting with things and hacking stuff and stuff like that, you can do pretty much everything you can do in JavaScript. You can pretty much do in Python, and vice versa. Almost. Obviously, the difference is Python comes with a lot of awesome libraries. I've written a couple programs in Python, written a decent. I love running subnetting programs for some reason. I've done it in both Python and JavaScript. Python has a library just for actual subnetting. Well, not for subnetting, but for IP addresses and stuff like that. And that actually, and in that library, you can do subnetting right out of that library and stuff like that, which is pretty neat. JavaScript, no, not so much. A lot of it, I'll pretty much had to build it all out from scratch and stuff like that. But it was pretty fun to do, nonetheless. But just to get back here to what I'm getting caught up on here is on where I'm trying to find if I'm returning if I'm trying to find a character, say the character is not even in here at all, and I know it's not going to be in here, but it doesn't matter. I still want to return a 0, but what's happening is it's not assigning a null to the find negative index. Now, the results of it will return a negative integer. Let me just pull up. So the index of method returns the first index of a given element that can be found in an array, or a -1. It's not saying that it's returning an element in an array. Found. It's nothing saying here about a null. It says it returns a negative integer if that value is not there. I don't understand why it's not assigning a -1 to it. All right, let me just So this right here should return a -1. -1. Okay, so that's what I want it to assign. Find negative index, because if it finds, if it returns a negative index, I simply have to state that if it's equal to the -1, whatever, it should return results equal 0. You know what I'm saying? And that it just results is equal 0. I mean, it just turns results back into 0. Too easy. Same thing it's doing here. Yeah. So I mean, if it's doing the same exact thing here. So if the all right, let me do this then. Let me not assigning. We're gonna do that. Ah, perfect. Make sure everything else works still. Alrighty. Alright. Remove that. And then there we go. Okay. So I just had to specifically get back the null object, the null, yeah, whatever you want to call it, the null object here. specifically returning back that null object, I can then force results to 0. Yep. Perfect. I like that. Right into my collection. Well, there you go. So now our function works perfect now. Yeah. Obviously, I can go into some more depth with it to just make sure, that we'll, to do some additional checks on the strings of the characters and stuff like that. But let's check to see if this satisfies their function. Oh, wait. Yeah, why is that doing that? Oh. It's going to return 1. Just make sure my math is correct here. So, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh. Woo! That satisfied it, baby. Perfect. Now, if you want to check this out, if you want to check out that pen right there, I don't know if you're familiar with CodePen or whatnot, but you can set up for free and stuff like that. And the reason why I use it is that way I can share my projects with anybody. You don't need no setup, no nothing to run the code right in your browser. You know what I'm saying? HTML, CSS. You know what I'm saying? JavaScript. And just makes it super easy to share stuff with people, especially because there's no setup, obviously. Absolutely no setup. Alright, so that finishes that one. I'm happy with that. Alright, let's do this next one. Write a function grocery that takes in an array object literal of grocery items. The function should return a string with each item separated by a comma. The function should return a string with each item separated by a comma, except the last two items should be separated by the word and. Be sure spaces. Alright, so it's going to want this object out of each. Yeah, so it wants. So each one of these is a single object. Out of each object, we want the properties of item to create a string, and then depending on if the string is larger than 1, then the last 2 of that string should return a and between them. See, that's what that was. All right, let me run to the head real quick. Grab another drink. I'll be right back. I am back. Just needed to grab a drink. Share music. Hope y'all are staying cool today. It's another hot day today, isn't it? It's the weather today. Oh, it's only 70 here today. Huh. Woo. That's impressive. Weather finally broke. I don't know where you're at, but it's been like 98 and stuff like that out here. I'm running the AC like a champion. That's why I'm kind of actually like cold today. My body's already used to it. It's sweltering hot. It's funny, I was explaining to her wife, like, this is how hot it felt when I was like in the Middle East with it being this, because I was in Bahrain for a while, and in Bahrain, the humidity is like ridiculously stupid because it's right off the coast. It's in between Africa and Iran. It's just humidity central for some reason. I don't know why. Ugh. Right, because results is no possible. Yeah, I fucked that up. Is meant to accomplish. You guys are awesome. I love Stack Overflow. People are so awesome. Go back to it. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Stack Overflow, for answering my questions. Look at that, guys. Use your Stack Overflow, guys. All right. Very good. I added this to my collection. We're gonna call this what kind of it's probably gonna be returning to string or something like that. To string, maybe. With some kind of conditional in there. The toString method returns a string representing the object. Right, so that's what we want to do. But I think we want to return it all. All as one object, all as one continuous string, right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, so one continuous string. Crispy. Crispy. Alright, so I just created a quick object. Object array here. Rename it. All right. So we want a couple pieces of information. Well, our array is 3 long. We are looking for particular let's return to Joe. So we need to iterate for I. It's lesser than or equal to object length iterate console log object iterator name, sir. We're going to want to iterate past it. So, all right, so something like that. All right. So there's a for in, for let, something for loop. So we can do a legal statement. How dare you? Error. Trying to think. Yeah. My brain's not working. All right. So. Let me write this as a function. Maybe that'll work better. Oh my god, I think I'm like brain dead.
So about 3 fire trucks.
I want to return a straw. But from certain properties. And I want those saved to an array. I can do it 4 each. This is something. That. Less than object. Not twee. It's smoke. So we got those now all into one object array, which I wanted. Now to string. So maybe with a join and then a toString. There we go. A little bit of the joinerator. Comma. Okay, yeah, so there should be a comma space, comma space. We're getting there. Now we just have to work on the and. Let me erase all this bootlock here. So because we have 3, we want to return an and. So how would I do that? I would do it just like that. And it's just if I have more than 2, right? It's greater than 1.
But it's the last snacks.
I'm gonna need a drink and a smoke. Yeah. All right. I will see y'all in a little bit. I need a drink and smoke. I'll be back.